All right, we officially have Gabbie Marshall reconnecting with Caitlin Clark, joining forces in Indianapolis. This is good news. Now all we gotta do is find a way to get rid of Stephanie White and get Kate Martin to Indiana as well. We gotta break this down. The Caitlin Clark, Gabbie Marshall reconnection is happening.
Look closely at that reaction, because what seems like simple good news actually reveals something much bigger about the current situation in the WNBA. Gabbie Marshall, Caitlin Clark's former Iowa teammate, hasn't played basketball professionally since April, yet she is now relocating to Indianapolis. The timing makes people curious. Here is why it matters. The Indiana Fever currently have only 3 players signed for the 2026 season. 3 players are not enough to form a real roster. At the same time, ongoing CBA negotiations could threaten the upcoming season. If talks fail, teams might need replacement players. Because of that possibility, Marshall's move from Chapel Hill, North Carolina to Indianapolis suddenly looks less like coincidence and more like something that could matter.
Big part of that. So now we have this. Caitlin Clark's Iowa teammate, Gabbie Marshall, announces move to Indiana. Now we know she has not been playing ball since Iowa. I think she moved to North Carolina or something after Iowa. Now, headed to Indiana to reconnect with CC. Clark was forced to sit out as the Indiana Fever made an unexpected postseason run, pushing the Las Vegas Aces to Game 5. Clark missed out on most of the season.
The timeline makes this story even more interesting. Gabbie Marshall ended her college career in April while playing alongside Caitlin Clark during Iowa's historic run that broke television records. After that, she stepped away from basketball, moved to North Carolina, and joined the University of North Carolina to complete her master's degree. It was a smart choice. For the last 8 months she has lived in Chapel Hill, occasionally traveling to support Clark at Indiana Fever games when possible. Then on Sunday, January 12, 2025, her partner Spencer Turo shared on Instagram that he accepted a job as Director of Operations at ETS Performance Headquarters in Indianapolis. Not in Charlotte or Raleigh, but Indianapolis, the same city where Clark plays. Now Gabbie is moving closer to Clark, just as the WNBA faces one of the most uncertain labor situations in its history.
Season. And here it says, following her Iowa career, Marshall went on to attend the University of North Carolina, earning her master's degree. Oh, she's smart. Oh, she's smart. So she went on to North Carolina to earn her master's. Marshall has remained supportive of Clark during her WNBA career, attending numerous Fever games to watch her good friend despite being in Chapel Hill. But on Sunday, Marshall's partner, Spencer Turo, announced on...
This situation becomes even more interesting when you look at sports history. Star players have sometimes helped open doors for people close to them. J.R. Smith once saw his brother Chris Smith join the New York Knicks roster in 2013. Giannis Antetokounmpo later shared the Milwaukee Bucks locker room with his brother Thanasis. When a player brings huge value to a franchise, opportunities often appear around them. Caitlin Clark broke WNBA attendance records in 2024. As a rookie, she averaged 19.2 points and 8.4 assists per game. Indiana Fever merchandise sales increased by roughly 400% because of her popularity. The team moved from crowds of about 4,000 fans to arenas packed with more than 17,000 people. If any player in league history has earned the influence to help a former teammate receive a tryout, it is Clark. And Gabbie Marshall is not just a friend. In her final Iowa season, she shot 38.7% from 3 and was considered one of the best perimeter defenders in college basketball.
100% with the Indiana Fever, giving Gabbie Marshall a tryout, because at the end of the day, what else do we have here? Like, it ain't that many people under contract. Look, off the strength of CC, she should be able to get a tryout. You should at least have enough respect to do that, all right? J.R. Smith was able to get his brother on the team. Giannis Antetokounmpo got the Thanasis Antetokounmpo on the team, all right? Caitlin, at least give Gabbie a tryout now. I don't want to hear no excuses on why it can't happen. All right, let's...
However, the main reason people are connecting these events is the CBA situation. This is the big issue that makes Marshall's move feel more meaningful. The WNBA Players Association and the league were unable to reach an agreement before the January 31st deadline. Negotiations were extended by 6 weeks, pushing the new deadline to the middle of March. The timing is difficult because training camps are expected to begin in April, and the regular season should start in May. At the moment, there is still no new collective bargaining agreement. If discussions fail, the league could either cancel the season or use replacement players. In its 28-year history, the WNBA has never experienced a strike or lockout, but the possibility is now closer than ever. If that happens, teams would need players willing to step in who are not currently part of the union.
There's a lot going on and a lot of conversation surrounding the new offer from the WNBA with the $1 million base salary, but they are not interested in continue to pay for housing for these players and certain things, that stipends and things like that they were giving before. They're basically saying, hey, we're upping the pay and now you can cover your own tabs for living and all of this other stuff. A lot of people are up in arms about it. Some people are saying take the money and do the deal. Let's get the season going. Let's hear what Alexa Philippou had to say about this on ESPN today.
About where things stand at the moment.
Yeah, George, well, there was a lot of meeting, a lot of back and forth over the last few weeks in hopes of trying
to understand the disagreement. It helps to look at the financial proposals in these negotiations. The league's latest offer includes a maximum guaranteed base salary of around $1 million. With revenue sharing added, top players could earn more than $1.2 million overall. The average salary across the league would rise above $500,000, while the minimum salary would increase to more than $225,000. The salary cap would also jump from the current $1.5 million per team to about $5 million, with future increases tied directly to revenue growth. On paper, this looks like a massive change. The current maximum salary sits at about $241,994. The average salary is close to $100,000, and the minimum is $64,154. That means top salaries could rise by roughly 400% and minimum salaries by about 340%. These are not small adjustments, but a major shift in how WNBA players are paid.
Extension neared, and I can report that, we saw a report a few weeks ago on the league's proposals to the players. I actually have some updated numbers I'd like to share you all of where the league's latest proposal stands. Right now, they are offering a deal with a salary for players at the maximum with a $1 million guaranteed base, projected revenue sharing, pushing those total earnings for maximum players to more than $1.2 million. Sources have told me just now the average salary projection under this deal, the average salary across the board is projected to exceed $500,000. The minimum salary would be projected to exceed $225,000, sources tell me, and the salary cap would actually increase to $5 million a year, and sources say would be directly
Still, the proposal also removes certain benefits players currently receive, and that is where the disagreement begins. Under the new structure, league-provided housing during the season would disappear. Some maternity-related payments would also be removed, along with certain guaranteed travel arrangements. The league's argument is simple. If salaries increase dramatically, players should be able to handle their own housing and daily expenses like other professional athletes. The players see it differently. They believe these benefits were necessary because salaries remained low for many years. Removing them while promising large raises feels contradictory. They also point out that NBA players who receive a similar share of revenue still enjoy both higher salaries and full benefits. The biggest issue is revenue sharing. The WNBA currently generates about $200 million in annual revenue. Players want a 50% share, similar to the NBA model. The league is reportedly offering around 40%. That difference of 10% equals roughly $20 million each year, or about $200 million over a decade-long agreement. That gap is the main reason negotiations remain difficult.
Now, for a little bit of a frame of reference, the salary cap for 2025 is around $1.5 million. So these are different numbers, updated numbers than we saw from about November 18th when that last deal came out. We don't quite know right now what the players do think of this. Obviously, it was not enough to get to an agreement yesterday for a new CBA. So it will be very interesting to see. We know that revenue share and salary cap, a salary cap that was actually tied directly to revenue growth in the league was very important to them. It's right now, again, unknown what they think of this proposal. But the reason why both sides do want to have this 6-week kind of runway to try to come to agreement is that they really see this as an opportunity to have an urgency to actually get the deal done sooner than that. That was kind of an expectation in agreeing to this, and we'll see how much closer they can come as we get to the next 40 days or so.
Well, that's what I'm saying. A deal has to get done before the
greatness is a journey.
A deal would have to get done.
Now return to Gabbie Marshall and why her relocation could matter. If the WNBA season is delayed or canceled because of these negotiations, the Indiana Fever face a serious problem. The team was ready to build momentum after Caitlin Clark's arrival. Every home game sold out, sponsorship deals were secured, and national television broadcasts were planned. Yet the roster situation is uncertain. Only 3 players currently hold contracts: Caitlin Clark, Lexi Hull, and Katie Lou Samuelson. Every other spot depends on free agency or team options that cannot be finalized until a new CBA is signed because the future salary cap remains unknown. If negotiations continue into March and threaten the April training camp start, the Fever will need backup plans. Having Gabbie Marshall living in Indiana, familiar with Clark's style and capable of shooting and defending at a high level, could provide useful depth rather than just a friendly reunion.
You could keep pushing this thing 6 weeks. Like, I think a deal has to be done by January. I'm hoping they're able to get one done. A lot of people, it's a lot of differing opinions on the most recent offer from earlier today that was reported. A lot of people do not agree with them taking housing out of the deal. Some people do. And I just feel like, hey man, listen, if the league minimum is going to be $225,000, you can go get your own apartment. That's just kind of how I feel. I don't know, but I mean, you get $1 million contract, you can go get your rent an apartment for however 4 months. Okay, it's not going to kill you. That's just how I feel. Get down in the comments. Let me know what you think about this. This is Keep the Vision. Make sure you like, comments.
Another important detail often overlooked involves Kate Martin, the third player from Iowa's well-known trio. She was selected by the Golden State Valkyries in the expansion draft, meaning she will not join Indiana. That leaves Gabbie Marshall as the only realistic chance to recreate some of the chemistry that made Iowa so exciting during recent NCAA tournaments. Basketball chemistry matters more than many realize. Caitlin Clark's assist numbers at Iowa were partly high because her teammates understood her creative passing style. Gabbie Marshall played 39 games alongside Clark. She knows when Clark prefers to attack the basket and when she will pull up for a shot. She understands when to cut toward the rim and when to stay ready for a perimeter pass. That type of connection cannot easily be developed during a short training camp. The Fever struggled with lineup stability in 2024, even though they reached the playoffs. They began the season 1-8 and constantly changed rotations before improving. Adding someone who already shares strong on-court understanding with the team star could be more valuable than it appears. Beyond the roster discussion, the larger question concerns the future direction of the WNBA. First, consider the possibility of Marshall receiving a tryout. Many people believe she deserves the opportunity. She was part of the Iowa team that helped bring unprecedented attention to women's college basketball. The Iowa vs. LSU championship game drew 12.3 million viewers, becoming the most watched women's college basketball game ever. Marshall started that game, hit important three-point shots, and defended Angel Reese effectively. She is not simply a friend hoping for a favor. She is a skilled player who chose to continue her education rather than immediately pursue a professional career. Normally, making a WNBA roster is extremely difficult. The league has only 144 roster spots across 12 teams, and even outstanding college players sometimes struggle to secure a place. But with the current uncertainty and limited contracts, Reliable depth players may suddenly become valuable. Marshall fits that description well.